The aviation part, I think it started when I was in the Marine Corps. There is something uniquely awesome about watching an FA-18 tear a hole in the sky and screaming as it went along. That just seemed really, really damn cool to me. The safety part kind of followed. It followed when I went into the commercial transport world that I had the pleasure of working in for almost 35 years. And as I've said to safety leaders, my peers, and people I've worked with, our friends, our family, people we don't know, rely on us to ensure that flying 7+ miles in the sky and 500 miles an hour is safe. Maybe really simply stated, human life is precious and we have an obligation to protect it. My position, that people are naturally curious, they want, and they need to know the why. The why leads to understanding, understanding leads to knowledge, and knowledge in the end leads to success. Further, maybe as equally as important, not knowing why can lead to fear. And fear is paralyzing, and in that paralysis, things don't get done properly. So I make a specific effort of making sure folks understand the why. There's different levels of why in the process, and maybe, layer one is enough of a why for us to get past and folks to begin to learn. I'll give you a bit of a broad response. And that is, what does our customer need to succeed? My position has always been detailed customer knowledge and focus. There are varying levels of this knowledge. It's my position that all involved in a product or a service have to have some fundamental understanding of how and what they are doing, how that aligns with fulfilling that customer need. I think the fact that you asked that question, that space and satellite is doing exactly what you said, growing in so many directions, is part of what makes it interesting right now. I have my own view of this, and I kind of believe we're in what I call the era of the commercialization of space. And I think we're at that point at the beginning of this, and the engineer in me talks about a knee and a curve. I think we're a little bit before the knee and the curve, and the opportunities for growth here are just tremendous. We're going to hit a knee and a curve with the area of commercial space that I think brings with it just a myriad of opportunities of all manner. There's a business philosophy called jumping the S-curve. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Products and technologies kind of have a life cycle that go like this and flatten out. And when you get to the flattening part of the S-curve, before you get there, you want to think about the next S-curve, and you want to think about your ability to jump towards that. And what I will say is, I'll go back to my former answer. What problems are our customers trying to solve? What needs do they have in solving those problems? And I think if you spend the time with the customer and get that detailed customer knowledge and focus, that helps you understand where you can apply that technology in the S-curve to solve the problems the customers have. I'm a rule of three proponent. I like to think of things in groups of threes. When we talked before, I think I talked about trust, tact, and then terrifying sometimes. it starts with the foundation of trust. Without that trust element, everything crumbles. Then tact, that comes down to telling somebody perhaps something they don't want to hear. And that needs thought in the approach, in the manner. And then you have to kind of overcome your own terror of telling the boss something they don't want to hear. When you're dealing with safety, that's an obligation you have, right? You have that obligation to bring that forward. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable, but it has to be done. And then wrapped in all of that, I just feel I have an obligation to help everyone succeed. It's not just me, it's just the folks I work with, it's the bosses and the enterprise as a whole. That trust element goes with mentors, mentees. You can't get to the thorny bits, the difficult parts, until you get the trust element in there. And then you have to be tactful of that. And yeah, it's uncomfortable at times. I think mentoring is just another form of helping people. If you see someone struggling or, really trying to chunk through a problem and you believe you can help, my position is lend a hand, offer a hand. If that just starts with even just saying, hey, I see you're having a hard time. Is there anything I can do to help? And in my mind, that is part of mentoring. Relationships naturally are a foundational element to the success. We talked about the trust. We get into the thorny parts associated with that. I think all of us can be mentors. I think we just need to have a willingness to help other people. Doing this day in and day out and helping people to solve problems is part of my job, and helping them grow. And that, to me, is the foundational part of mentoring. It is my position that technology is moving at a pace where the cadence seems to be constantly increasing. I will go back to that customer element. Those with a finger on this pulse, that technology and that cadence, and the ability to leverage and deliver disruptive value to their customers to help them solve the problems they have in their hands, they being the customers, to either advance, explore, or space, and the like. Those are the ones that will be successful. The ones that have their fingers on both technology and where you can apply that to solve the customer's problems.